And then the other women can accept you in their club of women. To a woman like me, who went to the hospital to give birth there, when the midwife looks at you and sees that you have undergone excision, they don't even say anything. They just bring a pair of scissors and a needle, because you'll be stitched. They will cut and stitch. Then you can imagine what happens to our women who don't go to the hospital, who are cut by a traditional birth attendant, and they are not stitched. So they will live with their muscles hanging, and their bodies will never be the same again. There are people who are sensitive to cutting. Once they are cut, they bleed, and if there's nobody to know the problem, then the girl bleeds to death. Mostly they die of bleeding.
Mm-hmm. But that couldn't convince the Maasais that they are losing their girls, that it's a wrong way to do this.
The worst thing about it is that they don't associate the death with the cutting, because they value the cutting so much that they keep saying it's a curse. Some women quarreled yesterday. They quarreled over meat, so they were fighting. So they brought the bad omen to our girl. So it's really hard to convince them and to make them understand that it is bleeding that was out of the cutting that caused the death.
What's the purpose of it?
Because they have been doing it thinking that they are doing the right thing to their daughters. And they value it, and they use a lot of money performing the rituals and feeding the people. They sell their cows to do that.
All of it is kind of a feast.
Yes, a feast, which involves a lot of funds.
What do they think, the Maasai people, that happens with the girls when they get circumcised?
They just think, well, after the blood has gone off a woman that has not been cut, of a girl, then now you are new. That's all. When I started doing this, whenever I go to the meetings, when I get the elderly people, I was feeling like talking to them, and I could talk to them just to see if I could know the origin of the culture. Then one day, one old man told me, "Look here, my daughter, you women get crazy when you're not cut." Then that is when I learned that it has something to do with our sexual pleasure.
But what did he mean?
So it means it's another way of taming a woman, because our men are polygamists. And a polygamy in a way that he will marry his second wife, bring her to your house, and you know, in our house, the partitions of our rooms are not closed. They're just open, where the bed is, where the other bed is. So you can hear the movement there. And you know, the other woman, or elderly woman, has no excitement in sex. Because one, the function of the clitoris is to stimulate a woman. And then once you are not stimulated, then what gives you the pleasure? So all the pleasure goes. So it's on, men use us as just like objects,
and
not for pleasure.
No, and to make sure that they can have this polygamy without any problems.
Without any woman saying, "Why? What are you doing? I also want to join you." So it's their game, and then he comes to you when he wants. So it was a way of taming women, because I think they also, I don't know how they came to learn of the functions of the clitoris.
And why is it that a family wants to marry away a girl whom is 9 years old?
Well, just because it's a culture, and they think now you're a grown-up, and they have no room for you, because they believe a woman's place is a husband's place. Not even as you grow, they keep telling you, "You woman, you are eating our food. When will you stop eating our food? When will you stop using our resources? You go to your home." So you grow knowing that you don't belong to this family. There is another family that you belong to.
Do you earn anything as a family? Will the husband pay anything for the daughters?
Well, it's a good business because we value cows. And once the first day before you go, there's one cow that you have, 2 cows that your father is given. And then when your children grow, when they're also going to go through circumcision, there are 4 cows that are brought to your family. That is your final engagement. So they value their cows.
And how much do you normally get for a girl?
Nothing. 5 cows. And then 1 sheep.
Do the parents then care about the girl's life with the husband? Because we have heard about stories about girls who were 13 years old who were supposed to get married to a man around 50 or something
Around
like that.
70. So long as he's rich, he has the cows, he can marry until the day he dies. That's why we started this program. The program is not supposed to force them. It's supposed to make them understand that the cutting has nothing to do with their culture. That's why at times we dress like them, to show them we value our culture, but there are some things that are not important to us, which are harmful. Not that they are not important, but they are harmful to our bodies.
When you started to fight this circumcision, you actually walked around in the neighborhood of Narok to convince all these villages about this, and you walked on your feet. What happened?
Yeah.
Please describe the first time you went off. Why did you do it?
We used to walk because I was with another lady, because I was no way I could walk alone. So I could pay another lady whom we were with, we could walk with her. So we walked to a village, we went to the village, we have come, we want to know what you do with your girl. Why don't you take your girls to school? It is important to take a girl to school. What is this that you call the culture? So we just developed that talk and then developed that friendship. So we sleep there, and then the following day we walk to another place.
And the first time you decided to do this, why was that?
I do remember that we started in 1995. In my head, there was something that stuck on my head when I was young. That is circumcision.
You have felt the anger since you got circumcised?
Yes, it never went away. So as women now, we started seeing that oh, your daughter has come back. Yeah, what is wrong? She has been cut and she's married. Then I saw that if we don't address this issue, we'll not have girls going far. Because they are cut, they are married. They don't go far.
Then they are not getting education.
They don't go back to school. And we want them to be doctors. We want them to be nurses. We want them to be responsible people. Then that is all how it started.
Do you remember the first time you went out? What did you experience? How did they react on you?
For 2 years, I couldn't even mention it. I had to say, I want girls to go to school. Please take your girls to go to school. Until they started saying, what will you do to the cutting? Because after the cut, that is when we marry these girls off. Then that is when we got hold. We use the model to show different types of female circumcision. And we are dealing with the people who have not gone to school. So we think by talking, one can forget. But by seeing, one will never forget what it is. So when we teach without showing it, we think that there's people who will forget what we said. So after talking to them, we tell them, now look here. Now I want to show you the types of female circumcision to prove that what I was saying was right. Now, using the tool, that is the model, now I start asking them, what is the function of the clitoris? The function of the clitoris is to stimulate the body. And then when I tell men like that, they run mad. You know? When you talk about sex with a man, you see that they value it. They say, then why do you allow these women to be cut? I say, well, I also don't know. It's a culture that I found people doing it. So that's why we show the model.
Yeah. But how did they react? Did they get mad at you?
I have been called all the names